Hey guys, it's Merrick. I've got another gameplay commentary for you today. In this one, we are yet again playing Planetside 2 on TR, but we're revisiting the TMG final. My loadout for everything other than the TMG is absolutely standard for me, with the Commissioner and Decimator, followed up with Adrenaline Shield, Survivalist, and Assimilates. The TMG 50 is a long-range support-ish type LMG, so I have it set up as such, with the Compensator, Forward Grip, and as I put on everything, High Velocity. But if you know me, that's not going to prevent me from running in CQC with it. With the loadout out of the way though, let's get into the gameplay. I start off at Zealous Northgate, and as I'm moving around, I do happen to spot some guys in the external building. I go to take a shot as a medic is retreating in, and I just live free in the end see him, forgetting that I'm TR, and then I just move around on the back, trying to get some pickoffs through the door. I eventually can't actually find anything, so I do some rotating around, and by the time I come back around through the building, they are still set up in that building, but there's a lot less pressure here from our team, so I'm able to actually get some shots out. I catch some guys, and then as they're getting rezzed, I'm able to pick them up yet again. Then I just back up and wait for more shots. I was having a nice conversation with chat at the moment, but because there wasn't a whole lot to shoot right there, I just decided to rotate back around the building. The overall population is in VS's favor, but I haven't seen a whole lot of it actually materialize on point yet, so rather than sit there at the door, I'm rotating around to try to make sure I cover all of our entrances, because, no offense to the randoms, but there's not a whole lot of chance that I can trust them to hold a point by themselves, so if I can rotate around, I might be able to help wherever something pops up. As a prime example of that, as I rotate back upstairs, there's some light assaults trying to peek in the windows. I'm worried about them coming in the balcony, but when I see on the minimap that it looks like they've breached downstairs, I do re-peek the staircase without full health and just die for free. I get up, try to get a reload, but looking at the minimap, it looks like they're coming in both the upstairs, the downstairs, and potentially through those windows, so I'm just trying to find a way to work this angle without exposing myself too much. I check the stairs from the roof and see that they're clear, and I step into the other half of the building because there's a bunch of people pushing up the staircase, and I'm trying not to get cleaved by nades while waiting for my shield to regen, but a light assault peeks the window, and I just don't win that trade. So I have to fall back to the main room we were holding. I see that there's a few people down on stairs, and I try to make sure that I can keep them down, picking an aggressive position that doesn't work out because I decided to whiff all of my shots. Not having many other fights to go to, I do accept this res, but I don't think we're holding this building, so I just keep rotating around, trying to check our side angles, and then try to get down here and cut the pie a little bit to get some angles and pick these guys off here. While I'm trying to wait for this guy to res, I get shot from behind, and as I turn around, I see that they've breached in both the staircase on our side and through the balcony, so I rotate to the safe staircase to get a reload, see that there's some people dead in the lobby, so I make sure that that's clear, and then I try to push back upstairs and do what I can, but they've already cleared out the building, so I'm able to pick one off, fall back, and then aggressively re-engage to take a second one. Unfortunately, he had somebody following him and a guy coming in from the top stairs, so there was no way I was going to get more out of that, but I was able to trade efficiently there at least. So from there, I head off to the next thing that looks to fight, which is the biolab. But after running around for a bunch of time, I don't actually see anybody, and then immediately get murdered from the side as I run past an opening, so I just decide that maybe that fight was actually fake news, and I head off to the Ascent. Not that I particularly like the Ascent, it's just the only place that there was pretty much guaranteed to be something to shoot at. So, I respawn, run towards the closest point, which is point B, and as I'm scaling the rock to try to get some angles, I see somebody on the side, I'm able to pick him off, and as I'm pushing up, somebody drops a nade, which lets me know that he's above me. I'm able to pincer him with somebody else, and then as I'm approaching the point, I see a Max. I don't get a good sight of it, but I know it's there, so I try to throw the rocket at it, immediately clip the rocket onto the wall in front of me, somehow without dealing damage to myself, but I hit it with the AV nade before somebody else takes it out. As that happens, some more people start trickling onto point from, I don't know if they dropped in or if they were all light assaults, but we're able to clear that up. Somebody throws a res nade, pick that up, and then I immediately start pushing back down towards the caves because that's where you're going to get the best infantry fights in this whole point. With the amount of vehicles that wind up being at the Ascent, I generally gravitate towards the caves pretty much constantly because it's the only place where you really can't just get murdered by vehicles. As I'm heading down the hill, I see a large purple population on this bridge block thingy. I can't exactly call it a blockade because you can drive vehicles under it. It's not really a bridge because it doesn't really do anything. It's just there for visual aesthetics, I guess. But either way, there was a bunch of angry purple guys there. I picked a few of them off from afar, and then I drift alongside the cliff to work my way down. I catch a guy on the corner as I push down, and I just slowly take my way inside because I expect there's going to be a bunch of them here. I don't see as many as I thought when I peek in, but I do see one guy who I try to jump back and forth to pick off. As I re-peek his side, there's an infiltrator running up on me that I'm able to take out, but we do clear that out, and then since we have no pressure here, I decide to peek out and harass the guys down leaving the spawn. I pick up a few of those guys there, and I'm getting ready to go push into the caves when a harasser almost runs me over, and then just completely astonished by what he's doing here, I have to sit here and watch what he's up to because I'm really interested in his plan. And about halfway through, he realizes that he really didn't have a plan, and yeah. With our Planet Man geographic segment wrapping up, I push into the Ascent Caves finally and try to push up to the point. And no sooner do I get there thinking that we're going to completely wipe out purple, I see that there's an absolutely massive blue push coming in from the other side. So I take up a solid cover position, pretty much away from as many sightlines as I can, and I just try to pick off what I can, but I keep getting harassed from people at different angles, so I have to keep jittering around, but I try to hold on to this cover because it blocks off the majority of their forces from hitting me at once. So, despite not getting the most solid engagements that I would like, I still think this is the best cover I could have asked for in this situation, because it gives me a handful of sightlines on both sides, there's some room to move around, and these rocks on my left I can suddenly jump to open up more sightlines as I start to clear things out. However, as would be expected, because I'm fucking stupid, I'm way too excited by all the opportunities that I have. I'm not letting my recoil reset properly, and I'm just mag dumping essentially downrange. So I miss a lot more shots than I need to, I give people a lot more uptime against me than I need to, and they eventually do take me out because I just start whiffing all of my shots. On the respawn, I run back in, and I try to take some dude out on the cliff's edge, and someone runs up inside of me and winds up eating all of the bullets. Before I can do a whole lot more, we are flanked by VS, I'm taken out, and then I have to try to push back into the caves again. I'm a little desperate for some fights because we've been completely sectioned off of where the actual good fights are, so I overextend and peek into a double peek, and then wind up seeing another potentially good fight elsewhere, and I head back to the biolab. I'm able to take the exact same router that was there earlier, and as soon as I'm running inside of this building, I'm able to deny 2 light assaults from actually wiping it out. I do wind up trading with the last, but considering I kept the router safe, I think it was worth it. They're pushing in through the main door, and I try to take an angle for that, but I get hit from the side, showing that they've actually been able to breach on the left, which I guess would be our right, and they're coming through the swamp area. So I try to get a better angle on that, and wind up just seeing one person who I'm barely able to not kill, and then a whole bunch of people that I can barely put damage on before they get out of my line of sight. I don't want to overextend in this corner because I'm expecting there to be an infiltrator, but no sooner do I back off, I get wrapped by people that breach through A point, and it looks like this whole point is kind of fucked. But by the time I respawn, it seems like most of them have been cleared out, or at least pushed back onto point, and I make a push on towards point A to see what I can't do in cleaning that up. I'm able to get a flank in, I'm taking out one of them, and then I completely overextend and pick the wrong target. Not only do I push in where I'm not supposed to, really, but I then don't even target the person that I was first exposed to, and I just get basically 2v1'd. But when I respawn, I do see that they've taken both points C and A, and I'm trying to go cover point B. This point B also has the shield for the spawn control unit, and if they hit that, this fight actually instantly dies, and this has been one of the better fights we've had tonight. So, as I'm jumping down from where we spawned, I'm able to pick off one guy hiding around that. It seems like we have a tight hold at the top of Fat, so I come over to Skinny to kind of hold the staircase, and I wind up taking a handful of smaller engagements here. This is only the first half of this segment, but because I'm leaving this week and I lost power last week, so I didn't get to work on this very much, I wanted to put at least something out, so we're going to have to wrap this up with 50 kills in 20 minutes. I think a lot of my issues in this segment were just not letting my recoil reset properly. The TMG 50 is a very good gun if you can hit the headshots, and it's a very accurate gun if you actually give it the time to reset. It doesn't even take all that long to reset. It's just I've been playing a lot of other more aggressive games like X-Defiant, so my recoil control and burst patterns were really not up to par right now, and I think it really shows in my throughput. I was in a decent position a lot of time. I didn't overextend as much as I normally do, but I still had kind of reduced efficiency just because I wasn't shooting properly. Although at the same time, a handful of my deaths were absolutely because I overextended and peeked into 2 or 3 people at once with a hard peek rather than even a scouting peek to then back off and try to bait one. I just decided to hard commit into what I didn't know and wound up finding more than one person. I'm sure there's more that I've done wrong this segment, which I'm sure that you can identify if you watch some other videos where I've talked about it, but I've got to begin wrapping this up. So, as always, let me know what you do like, let me know what you don't like, let me know what you think so I can improve my videos moving forwards. Thank you guys for your continued support, and I'll see you guys next time.